So when we talk about a quadratic inequality, remember that an inequality is, when we talk about inequality in general, an inequality is one of the four symbols that tell you that you're not dealing with an equation. So the symbols look like this. You can be less than, greater than, less than or equal, or greater than or equal. And the reason I'm separating is because now we'll write our notation for this. In terms of notation, when we talk about one of these symbols right here, less than or greater than, we're not including the values that are at the bounds. So our notation, this means to exclude. And so when we write it in interval notation, we're going to use the parentheses. That means exclude those boundary points. As opposed to these symbols right here, which mean to include. So when we talk about these, we're actually going to include the boundary points. So when you start to work on this, the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to actually factor the quadratic to find the actual x values, the x-intercepts, because that's where the values are, that's where the y values are zero. So you always want to start this by actually setting an equation equal to zero, or greater than or equal to zero first. And then once you have that, you're going to factor it, and you're going to put your x-intercepts, so this will be x1 and x2 on here. And based on these symbols, you're going to decide whether you should exclude or include. We show exclusion on the graph by using open circles. We show inclusion by using closed circles. And so then once you have a graph, you're going to see if the graph opens up or down. And you're going to go and look at it then in terms of, well, once you have this, now we need to figure out if we're above or below. If it is a greater than type of problem. So we're talking about, greater than or greater than or equal to, we're going to be above the actual horizontal axis. So we're going to be above this horizontal axis. If we are talking about a less than or equal problem, we're going to be below that value. So when we look at the example that you did, let's look at that one. So if we look at this problem that you were given, x squared plus x minus 6 is less than 0. The first thing I want to do is I want to identify the symbol that I'm looking at. And I know when I look at this symbol, this is less than 0. So this means two things. It means I'm going to exclude the boundary points. In this case, you're excluding your intercepts, which is what you're going to find from the equation. And you're also going to have open circles. So you're going to use the parentheses when we show this. And that means that you're going to shade, this symbol also means look at the below part. Look at the below part of the graph. So what we do is we first factor. So let's factor x squared plus x minus 6. And we just set it equal to 0. We want to find the values that are equal to 0 using that zero product property. So when I do this, I see that the factors of 6 are 1 and 6 and 3 and 2, 2 and 3. The only ones that give me that 1 are going to be these right here. This will be x plus 3 and x minus 2 equals 0. So my solutions are going to be here positive 2 and negative 3. Positive 2 and negative 3. And I got that from, remember we do x plus 3 equals 0 or x minus 2 equals 0. Solving for x, we're going to subtract 3 on both sides. I get x equals 3. Add 2 here. I get x equals 2. So these are the intercepts you want, 3 and 2. So what you're going to do is put these on your number line. We're going to draw a number line. We're going to label it with the values of which one comes first. Well, negative 3 is going to come first here. So negative 3, my fault. Negative 3 comes here first, and the other value is 2. We said we're going to exclude these values. We're going to put open circles here. And now I need to know which way is the parabola opening. Is it opening up or down? I can tell that by looking at the a value, or whether the x squared is positive or negative. Here it's positive. So the parabola has to do something like this. It opens up, comes through here, and turns back like this and goes through like that. And remember, the symbol that we're looking at is the less than symbol. So we want to be below. Well, where's the graph below that horizontal axis? It's below from this value to this value. And this tells me that my solution set then is going to be from negative 3, and I don't include it because I have open circle in negative 3, up to 2. Don't include the 2 because I have an open circle there.